Yeah. Hey there. Okay, so we're no less disappointed in what happened in that game after looking at the film and getting back and getting after it. Um, there were so many opportunities to win the football game, and it's we've been in these situations where we count on things to happen and the right plays happen in the right situations and the right complementary play occurs, and we just missed it. And so they got a good win, and it won't be long. We'll be playing those guys again. So we took some hits. We got some guys banged up a little bit in this game, and so we'll have to see how the week goes. We don't have a lot of definitive stuff right now, but when you guys ask about it, I'll fill you in best I can. But that'll mean that some guys are going to have to step up, and I know the Niners have been in those same situations for quite some time too. I think we probably have the most people injured with them, and so everybody's battling and scrapping and clawing to get ready each week. So we'll do it again this week, and a great matchup with those guys. Go.
Jen Mueller.
All right, let's start off with a couple of those injuries. What kind of clarity do you have on Chris Carson and Travis Homer?
Chris has like we said, he has a midfoot sprain. There's something there that we could see, so we just have to go. It's just a week to week. We'll see what happens. We don't know. So he was real determined to say I can go with it, but we won't know until the end of the week for sure. On Homer's got he has a bruised knee, not a knee injury, so that's something he has a chance to recover from.
Corbin.
Hey, Pete, what was your impression of Jordan Brooks' performance yesterday? It seemed like he was flying around, made that huge play on that goal line stand down there inside the 5.
Yeah, this is what we've seen from him. He's a really good ball player, and I keep telling you, I'm excited for you guys to see how fast he is and how aggressive he is. He really plays downhill. He's just getting started, so he's got a lot of really good things to happen here in this season, and we expect him to play well and be effective now. But when he really gets his feet on the ground and really comfortable with the scheme and the rhythm of the games and all of that, he's going to be a really big factor for us.
Curtis.
Yeah, Pete, when you look at the defense from last night, what stands out most to you about the performance, combined kind of with how you've gotten to this point throughout the first 6 weeks of the season?
Yeah, we gave up a lot of stuff late in the game again. We gave up over 100 yards rushing in the fourth quarter, and we got in a spread out game. They they spread the thing out and more than they had been, and we just didn't play it as aggressively as we would like to. They did a lot of dinking the ball underneath and Hunt and pecked with the running game and did a nice job with it, and they got done what they needed to get done just barely. So. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the game plan and all that, but there's things that we'll do a little bit differently next time we play them.
Michael Sean.
Pete, and just this whole year in general, why do you think you guys haven't been able to get off the field on third down consistently?
It really comes down to generating pressure on the quarterback, and it's not just the pass rushers. It's all of it. We came out of the chutes early, with pressuring and trying to get after it and create a complement, to the guys, the front 4 guys, and we're still there, and we still have to do that. We have to make it more difficult on the quarterback by harassing him. That's the whole key is that guy throwing it and making his decisions. We have to do a better job in a number of ways.
Have you ever, at any point in your coaching career, not just the pros, had a third down rate this low? Can you recall?
No, I don't remember. No, I don't remember that happening. Maybe at UOP back in the day. I can't remember. Any others?
Tim.
Pete, do you have to bring in a running back this week, or is that even possible with the COVID restrictions and stuff, just to add depth at that position?
It's really difficult. This is really difficult to do that, to get guys in here in time where they could actually practice and have a chance to even, be familiar with taking the handoff, we have some things that we can do if we need to. We'll look, we're going to take it one day at a time and see if our guys can get back and who can get back, with a couple creative thoughts going forward that we'll keep in-house for now.
And then your last possession, I think it was your last possession, or regulation, where you guys had you went 3 straight runs. Carlos got 7 yards on first down, and then you guys got stuffed and had to punt it back. Hindsight is what it is, but I guess how did you feel about taking the ball essentially out of Russell's hand in that situation and trying to run for that first
Well,
down?
just let you know that there was options in there in the calls that we made where he could have been throwing it, and we did something. There was things in here, so we didn't forget about him.
Thanks.
Bob.
Bob.
Sorry, struggling with the mute button. Shaquille Griffin, what is his status?
Shaquille suffered a concussion, and he's got a little hammy thing that's going to nag him a little bit too. So we got to see how he does. This is really up to the docs and taking care of him through the process. Probably by Thursday we'll know what's going on.
And what was your assessment of your running game after Chris went out? And I guess basically Carlos. But how did you feel like that went? Did you think it was a big change once Chris went out? Or?
No, I didn't. Carlos is a different style runner than Chris is, but he ran the ball really well for us. So we still came downhill. He did a really nice job on the tosses on the perimeter, but he runs up inside well also. So we ran for a lot of yards on this night, and Russ helped us, with the numbers, taking what they gave him. But we felt pretty good about it, So if Carlos is available to us, which we're hoping he is, then we feel like we can keep the tempo going if Chris can't make it.
John.
Yeah, Pete, how do you assess Russ's game? I mean, as you mentioned, he had all the rushing yards. I think that was the second most total passing and rushing yards of his career, but then he has the 3 interceptions. Just how do you kind of take that game?
Yeah, it was a spectacular game for him in a number of ways, but it all gets clouded and mired in 3 picks, and we've talked about him a little bit that, the first one, they were just unusual situations that happened. They weren't normal type of situations, and I don't think this is the kind of stuff that's going to keep coming. I really didn't like the last one in particular. Russ really tried to push something in that wasn't really available. He made a tough decision there, but so the takeaways, they'll discourage you from being excited about his game, but he really played really well and made a ton of great throws in the game and great decisions to run too. So that's just life of the quarterback.
Art.
Following up on that, Pete, you said this morning on the radio and in the past that when Russ does make mistakes, it's typically from trying too hard, forcing things, making things happen. Given the defense's vulnerability this year, do you think that problem could become acute?
No, I don't at all. But I think that's anybody's problems with making mistakes, is so often getting outside of yourself, not just sticking with what you can do, and you try to do something different. And so often we err when we do that, and it's not unique to Russ in that regard. But I don't think that has anything to do with it. What's going on the other side of the ball, or what. Russ has got his game together. He knows what he's doing, and sometimes plays get away, and that's it's to be expected. We try to avoid it and minimize every aspect of that, but unfortunately that was kind of the story in this one.
Jackie.
Coach, when we talked to the players after the game, Tyler, he said that this was a learning experience and could be the best thing to happen to them. Do you feel like this loss could kind of galvanize this team for this long stretch ahead to finish the year out?
Yeah, I do. I do because there was a few things that happened really across the board. There was a couple penalties in special teams. There was a couple critical penalties, that really changed the game. We've been really good, with our numbers of penalties, but that was a factor in there. When we had our chance to finish, and look, we finished the game with DK in the end zone, but we had the penalty that brings it back. So I think it's just allows us to really hammer home how important it is to do things right, particularly as you're finishing down the stretch, and do things right longer than the other guys. That's basically what it's all about, to be a great finishing team. And I think this couldn't be more clear. The illustrations, when we watch the film today, the guys will totally get it and understand it, and it'll just make the messaging that much stronger.
Brady.
Hi, Pete.
Hey.
What's your overall assessment of the job that Ken and the defensive staff as a whole have done this season?
Well, we're continuing to work. I'm in there too with them, you know. So I'm all part of that, and I'm not separating from anything here. That we have to keep working to make put our players in the best positions to be aggressive and to be effective, and we need to help them more in our pressure. And we did not try to get after them very much last night. We didn't. That was not part of the plan going in. And when we needed it, we needed to adjust. And I wish I would have got that done. Kenny and I are in that working that stuff out, and so my assessment is that we're working really hard with our guys to get them in the right spots. I'd really like to feel the continuity of everybody that we can count on. We're not quite there yet. And I really think that because of the intent and the focus and the guys playing hard and running and hitting, that we're going to make a turn. And we're going to turn for the better, and it's going to make a big difference in this season.
And with Jamal, is there a plan yet for him this week? Do you know if he'll practice on Wednesday?
I don't know that yet. I talked to him on Saturday before we left, and his workouts are going great and all that. He really wants to get back, but he's going to have to show it, you know, that he's capable of doing all the stuff that we need to do football-wise. And so because he's so close to being back, I think this will carry into late in the week, and we'll see how it works out. But I can't tell you it conclusively right now.
Joe?
Pete, just continuing off that question by Brady, just curious, what is the breakdown of responsibilities between you and Ken and when it comes to play calling and game decisions?
You know, we work real close with the whole staff. You know, we work about what the plan is. We work about calls by situations, and so we do stuff together. Kenny calls the game for the most part, and then I'll add stuff in as we're going. You know, I'm in the conversation the whole way with him and trying to help out as much as I can. But I also, you know, you got to stay out of the play caller's mind for the most part. I believe in, and so. So I'm trying to work well complementing, and that's why I'm right in here with it. We're trying to get this thing knocked out and cleaned up and all that, and so we're doing it together.
You've mentioned having to help your guys out a bit more a couple times this season. I mean, is it just trying different things and seeing if something will click, or how do you go about the process of helping your guys out more, particularly in regards to the pass rush?
Yeah, what I'm dancing around the specifics of there is to say that, you know, it's not always just the down linemen that have to, you know, that are called on to do all of the pressuring. There's a variety of ways to do stuff to help them and to complement them with guys coming from different angles and different spots in the secondary and all that. And where we have to decide. Like in that game last night, I felt like we made it pretty straight for them down the stretch and thought that we would outlast them and we would make the plays that we needed to make. And they seemed to be a little bit crisper in the fourth quarter. They had a lot of plays with 4 wide receivers on the field and did a nice job with that package. And it's a combination of things to get this done, and it's also utilizing the people and taking care of the issues that you have with your people. And so those are all of it's a thumbnail sketch of the variety of the concerns that you have in figuring this out.
Greg?
Hi, Pete. How much of an option is Alton Robinson for an expanded role as a pass rusher? Is he more of the stout inside, hold the inside line?
He's an outside edge rusher. We like the thought of keeping Benson out there and Griff out there in this game. Just for the speed to chase the guy down, and Griff is about as nifty a guy you can put out there. Of course, he's undersized and all that, but that was one of the thoughts to see if we could keep them, from running around so much.
And with Griffin, you mentioned a little bit this morning on the radio, he seemed to be inside as a spy a lot more. Did that kind of handcuff him and not able to run around as much because he had to stand there and wait to see what would react?
Well, he was assigned to the quarterback.
Okay. Is there an option to him to be more proactive going forward? I guess.
Yeah, well, there's different players, different games, different matchups and stuff. And Kyler Murray's a really unique player, and there's nobody quite like him when it comes to taking off out of the pocket. And so we wanted to have as much speed on the field as possible to track him down.
And with adding players from the outside with this COVID-19 protocol, is that essentially now a 2 or 3 week proposition?
Yeah.
Because of the.
It really is. It really is, and you got to hope you have the crystal ball. When you can get ahead of it. So it's when if you do get hit in a position with like multiple guys at the spot, you can be in trouble there. And so we just try to keep staying ahead of it. It's a whole different dynamic to fill in your roster and keeping it going.
Masvida.
Hey Pete, this might be redundant given Joe's question, but I'll give it a shot. When you say you're counting on the continuity of guys on defense, is that injury or just a consistency of playmaking on that?
No, I'm referring to getting Jamal back out there, and the day when Darrell Taylor comes into us, and we get the guys back in action, that we've been kind of counting on, and we came in counting on. It'll be nice to see where that leaves us. Now that we finally got Jordan Brooks back out there, I mean, this is a really big deal to us, and this is his first game back. We're 6 games into it. He's played a little bit earlier in the season, We really see he's got a big factor to play for us, and as we develop him and get him comfortable, I think you're going to see that he's really equipped, and we need that. We need all the help we can get.
You talked about anybody pressing. How do you keep a guy like Jordan Brooks talented from trying to do too much and having him just evolve into who he is?
That's an ongoing pursuit for the coaches to know the guy, know what's important to him, learning how to read him and understand where they're going, being on a good level, in your conversation with him so that you can make sense to keep him on track. I mean, to me that issue is like as big as anything I'm dealing with, and as a whole team. And there's a bunch of individuals in the midst of all of that. So our coaches have to help us staying in contact with these guys, and watching them and listening to them, and seeing how they perform and how they respond to the tough things and the good things. I mean, there's just so much that goes into that to help a guy's mind get competitively really sharp and really right there where he can trust himself and allow himself to play like he's capable.
AJ?
Coach, I know there's probably an aspect of this that you can't tell us, so I'm going to try and word this in a way that you can answer it. There's reports that Everson Griffin is interested, or the Cowboys have made him available to trade. I know there was interest on your end over the summer with guys like that, who you didn't sign in the moment, but how much are you keeping tabs on players that you've had your eye on for some time in case a situation like this comes up? That's
a really good job. What a question. Well stated. I mean, I would tell you, like I always tell you guys, that, and this is just the facts, we are in on everything we can know of. And so, if there legitimately has been conversation, from them, from a particular team, John knows it, and he's on it. And so that means that we're listening to whatever the options are, and we're trying to figure things out, and see what's best and all of that. There's a lot of factors in all of this, and not to mention cap and and all kinds of deals, So, but we're, the point being that we interested in guys we were interested in before. Yeah, we have a lot of information because we've done a lot of homework and stuff like that. So we are focused in on stuff like that.
And are you constantly shopping both sides of the ball?
Yes, yeah, we are. We're constantly shopping. It's basically how it is.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Ben?
Pete, how are Rasheem Green and Philip Dorsett doing?
Rasheem is ready to come back to practice this week with the opportunity to play next week. So that's I know that one for sure. I don't have an update on Philip, although I did see him this morning and talk to him that he's at 90% clip right now, running and doing well, and so this week will be a really important one for him too. But Rasheem should be back at practice, is the way I understand it, right, this week.
Okay, thank you.
Bob?
Yeah, Pete, just wanted to follow up on, you said it on Carlos Hyde, if he's available to you, does he have an injury issue, or?
He did have a little tightness in the hammy that we're watching.
And how close is Rashad Penny to returning?
Gosh, if I saw him working out today, and he looked pretty good. That's on the docs. We got to wait and see what they say. I don't have the timeline on that, but he was working out on the grass and he was running hard today, so he's getting close.
Curtis?
Yeah, Pete, what did you see out of DJ Reed in practice last week as he worked in with you?
He showed that he's a real instinctive ball player. I mean, he went for it last week, and trying to make a pitch for himself to get some moved up and get a playing opportunity. He's a really nice football player on film. Real instinctive, real versatile, real flashy, and he showed that last week. He looked really like he had great feet and a burst and the kind of stuff that you like to see, in the spot that he plays. He's been playing corner and nickel and a little bit of safety stuff for us. So I'm anxious to see what he does this week. I would not, he's eligible to get back out here this week, so we'll see how he does.
Last question, Joe.
What's realistic for Stephen Sullivan making the transition to defense? Is that a long-term project where you look forward to next year? Or is there a chance that he could, play for you and you'd feel comfortable throwing him out there this year?
He could play for us on either side of the ball right now. He really could. Whether we can make that move with him or not on the defensive side, we got to kind of call it here pretty quick. He's put in a good time to do it. We haven't crossed the threshold of throwing him out there, but we've talked about it, and he's a good-looking athlete on both spots. He's just really versatile kid. So we're kind of in the middle of all that right now, to tell you the truth, Joe.
Has he played defense before? Like, how do you already have the confidence?
Back to high school. Back to high school. No, we've been practicing him, for a number of weeks now, and he's been getting drilled and worked after practice and matched up and stuff like that. So he's made good progress.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, see ya.